Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Eiffel Tower. My name's Oliver G, and boy, oh boy, do we have a good episode today. I'm very fortunate indeed. I've been getting emails recently from people saying, gosh, Oliver, I want some tips on shopping. And you know what I respond to those people? I respond, well, I can't help you there. I'm no expert. And then I realized they were looking for me to get a guest on who could give them tips about shopping. And I racked my brains, and then I thought, hang on, I know just the woman. And that woman is in the studio today. She is the head of Deuxieme Studios, a shoe brand that you can find on the literally, as you walk into the Printemps department store, her shoes are right there in the door. I'm very excited to have her in the studio, and even better still, she's my wife. Her name is Lina. She's in the background laughing. I can hear her. Lina Nordin Gee, you might even say. And she's going to walk us through everything you need to know about shopping. Where to shop, how to shop, tips, tricks, names of shop, everything that you need to know. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to get started on that in a sec. But first, I want to say this show is brought to you by French Today. French Today, they're audiobooks to help you learn the language of love. And if you go on frenchtoday.com/earful9, you will get an additional 10% discount on all of their audiobooks. So go and check that out. frenchtoday.com/earful9. And if you hang around at the end of the episode, I'm going to go right into one of their audiobooks. I'm going to try and convince Lina to hang around, and we're going to walk through a few words specifically related to shopping and see if we can pronounce them very well. So that's all to come. Here it is, the Eiffel Tower with Lina Nordin Gee, the head of Deuxieme Studios Shoes, and talking about shopping. Let's get into it. So, Lina, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
How
are you feeling?
Yeah, feeling good. When's the last time you've been on the show?
It was a sweet while ago.
Was it? Well, honeymoon it wasn't, was it?
No, I was here maybe in springtime, so 6 months ago maybe.
Although we did the Abbess episode, walking down the street.
That's right.
The truth is, everybody, I'm not in the studio as often as I used to be, so it's kind of nice to have you in here right now.
It's nice to be back here.
Well, on that note, let's get into it. When I say shopping in Paris...
Yeah, I say ketching.
And what is that supposed to be?
No, I don't know.
It's
Go
expensive.
on. Yeah. Well, it can be. We get into that, though.
That's interesting coming from a Swede, where everything is expensive.
I know.
What I want to do is kind of go through all the shopping places and tips and secrets and advice that you'd have for people. Mm-hmm. But first, let's start on what I mentioned in the intro. Congratulations on having your shoes in the department store.
Wow, well, thank you.
So let's walk through this. This is, if in a way, this will give you the cred. So people sitting there at home, driving in Louisiana, Mississippi, whatever, they're thinking,
who's this?
I don't know why I went there exactly. But if they think, why is she giving me tips? I think you're the perfect person. So your shoes are in the entrance of the Printemps department store.
Yes, please paint a picture.
Right, so when you walk in, essentially the biggest department store in Paris, they're in a glass dome right there.
Yes.
Walk me through how that made you feel.
Oh, wow. I mean, picture a woman so happy she can almost not sit still. That's me. Okay, I don't know. That was a bad
but the truth
bad
is
explanation, but it was, just over the moon. Right. I think it's a career highlight.
But how did it happen?
How it happened?
Yeah.
Well, I since a few months back, I've been retailing my shoes with Printemps, as well as my own web shop. And it's just kind of went from there. I had no idea they were going to be in the window.
That's what I mean. How did that happen?
Well, I don't actually know.
I'm legitimately asking you as an interviewer here because I'm curious.
Yeah, I am curious too. I need to figure this out because there are obviously people who are in charge for the window displays.
Right.
And I have no connections with them. I think they just walk around the department store and find items that they like. And voila. And
you think it's because, so the shoes that are there in the glass display are kind of a bit outlandish.
Yeah, they are. So the shoe that is in the window display is it's like a cream white ankle boot, where it's very, very simple, nice cream leather, and then the heel is different. The heel is essentially in the shape of a padlock.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels very Parisian in the way that a lot of tourists, especially tourists, they put up padlocks all around town. And I guess, what's that bridge? I forget. It's a Pont des Arts. where they put up the padlocks, like as couples to kind of lock in their love. It's a romantic
Controversially,
symbol.
though.
It's very controversial. I don't think it's a good idea, and that's why I decided to put it on a shoe instead, so you can walk around with your love.
So someone in the department store goes, I like heels made of locks. I'm going to put them in the window.
Yeah.
Is that as far as you figured it out?
That is as far. I need to talk to some people.
Yeah.
I need to.
You know what? So you were there last week. We did a Patreon video where we were rowing on the Bois de Boulogne Lake.
Yeah.
And Clovis, our French friend, was talking about window shopping. Do you remember what it's called in French?
Yes, it's called lèche vitrine.
Yeah, which means window licking.
Window licking.
So there's something for...
Which is slightly gross.
There's something
Paris is a dirty town.
I wonder if anyone's licked the window where your shoes are.
Yeah.
Anyway, for anyone listening who's wondering if you got the chops for this episode, hopefully that proves it.
Well, hopefully.
And don't forget the brand is called Deuxieme Studios. We'll link that at the end. But let's get on to shopping.
Yes.
We may as well start with the department stores. I figure what we do is you sort of walk me, an idiot, when it comes to shopping. And you've got no idea how many people have asked for an episode about shopping, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've pushed it off for as long as I could.
You're like, no, I don't want to.
But treat me as the idiot. And
okay,
you
well, that won't be hard.
walk me through the things that anyone needs to know.
All right.
And as I understand, you've got some cheat sheets.
Well, I have put together a little list.
Mm-hmm.
I have, because I kind of confuse myself
Well,
otherwise.
what's the idea of the list?
The list is that I tried to categorize it. So I have a few different categories when it comes to shopping. Mm-hmm. So by area or by type of shopping, by price point, that sort of thing. So,
okay, well, how about I sort of lead you through it and you take me on the journey?
Okay.
But if we start with the department store shops,
yes.
Who's there? What do we need to know?
Okay, so walking down Boulevard Haussmann? Yeah. Haussmannian.
Big, beautiful boulevard.
Yeah, exactly. You got the old Belle Epoque department stores like Galeries Lafayette and also Printemps, which is close to my heart, of course, as mentioned earlier. I think they're beautiful inside. The buildings are stunning. They have like these glass domes, colorful glass domes. They have amazing rooftop bars and restaurants. And also you can just go up there to check out the view if you don't want to grab a very overpriced drink, to be honest.
Sure. So they're more than just shopping. You can get there. I mean,
I think it's like a destination.
It's kind of like a reward for the let's say there's a husband there who doesn't really enjoy shopping. He gets the reward at the top. Or a wife who doesn't enjoy shopping.
Exactly.
Yeah. But who's going into these department shops?
Everyone.
These are Parisians as well?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
The Parisians. A lot of tourists, of course, as well, because, well, they are a destination in itself. You can find all the big brands. You even find the more high street options. They have like, what do you call it? The floor just for them.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
It doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg.
And they're next door to each other as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of close to the opera district with a lot of chains around there as well. So a lot of shopping around the area.
And if we got people listening who don't care for shopping, I'm amazed that they've come this far. But I've got a tip to echo a tip that we got recently from David Smith, a courier. I don't know if you listened to the episode.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. So he recommended across the road from Printemps is this bank like Gringotts from Harry Potter.
Yes.
And we went in there the other day, and it is amazing. I feel like, David, if you're listening, David, I feel like you undersold it, if
I
anything.
feel like that was a really good tip.
That was
I had no idea it was there.
One of the best things.
So good.
Oh my God. So when we went in, it said no photos. So
obviously we took some photos.
Took sneaky ones. But you can also go downstairs and there's a big vault. It really is. Like David said, it's like something from Harry Potter. Yeah. But it's if you
incredible.
heard David's version, it's more exciting than David said, I think. You know
incredible.
what else David said?
Several floors.
You know what else he said to me afterwards?
Tell me, what did David say?
He emailed me as he left and he said, I forgot to mention the time that I forgot to mention the time that I brought underwear to Kate Moss at the Ritz.
No.
And I brought something to the president or something like that.
No, are you serious?
I was like, I can't believe you forgot it as well.
Those are the best stories.
David. Anyway. There's another note that I've got that I remember we had a previous guest say. I think it was Leah Walker, and I wrote it down. She mentioned that if you spend a lot at Galeries Lafayette, for example, I've got it here, if you spend over 175 euros and you live outside of the EU, you can get a 12% tax back on it.
Oh, right.
12% refund, tax refund.
Well, that's lunch.
So there you go. Yeah, that's true. So there's something to think about. Look it up. You
Yeah.
can find it on the department store websites.
That's a good little tip.
Is there anything else in the way of department stores before we...
Well, there's an obvious one. Well, it might be my actual favorite.
Go on.
It's the Le Bon Marché on the left bank.
Why is that your favorite?
Well, I think it's just so beautiful. They're really good at... It's just a stunning building in itself. And was it the first? I'm not sure. So someone at home could look this up, or we could look it up. But what do you call it? The escalators?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they were like among the first in the world, or
Interesting.
the very first ones. I'm
Interesting.
not quite
The
sure, but
first
something
in the
like
world.
that. Yeah.
Well,
They're very distinct.
That will be in the PDFs
Yes.
that the Patreon supporters get. So
There
there's a
you
little
go.
incentive for you guys if you needed one.
Yeah.
Okay, and
All
as
right,
well as all
so-
the addresses. They'll all be in those PDFs. But let's get out of the department stores.
Yes.
What if you're not a department store kind of person?
Yeah,
Where are
maybe you
gonna
want
shop?
some fresh air.
maybe you
Out
want
in the sunshine. Feel the rain in your hair.
So what are you going to do?
Well, there are a few things you can do. What sort of shopping do you want to do? Do you want to go high end? Do you want to check out some vintage, flea market?
Look, I want to get something cheap and interesting. Not
Cheap
necessarily
and
clothes.
interesting. Well, I think, you know what? You and me, we live in Montmartre.
Yes.
And I'd be foolish if I didn't mention Montmartre, because you can get, well, not only do you have a lot of beautiful little streets to walk down, you have a lot of good cafes to visit, but you also have a lot of good art shops. Like a lot of these little small independent ones. You can also find independent designers, jewelry makers, curiosity shops. There's one that I've written down, and it's called L'Objet qui Parle, and it's on Rue de Martyrs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like it's definitely a curiosity shop. It's a tiny little place, and it's the sort of place where you can find everything from like an animal skull to a broken teapot to like
What?
it's hidden treasures, but you really have to look
Yeah,
around. There's a
okay.
lot,
Okay.
and that's the place to go if you want. Yeah, maybe you don't care for like clothes shopping or
Well, what
something,
about
but
the
it's
what
like
about
that
the flea
special.
markets?
The flea markets, yeah.
What's your tips on that?
My top tip would be to go to Saint-Ouen in the north.
Mm-hmm.
So not far from Montmartre either. A short train ride, and it's kind of like a village in itself. It's like a village full of antiques and
It's
flea
so
market,
big, you
and
know?
it's massive.
I find it overwhelming.
Yeah, you have to take a day. But you have restaurants, you can walk around. It's like, again, it's like curiosities.
Have you got any tips for someone who's never been out there, wants to go out? Maybe it's just hard to get out there even.
It sort of is.
Like you
have to be prepared for it.
So, Lina, there's probably people who come into Paris for the first time. They're a bit intimidated. They know it's big, like I said.
Yeah.
Have you got any tips to make it easier for them?
Well, I think as I said, it's like a village in itself. It's so big. So you can easily feel a bit overwhelmed and be like, oh, I only see the antique furniture here. And it's not in my price range. It's not really what I'm looking for. You have to kind of understand that there are many different like blocks or quartier in itself. So you do have the very high-end antique furniture. You also have the vintage fashion. You have the old Xbox, PlayStation sort of thing.
Last
You got
time we went there,
everything.
we found it must have been like you and I've been there, I don't know, half a dozen times or something. And for the first time, we found the books and music section.
Yeah.
Which was inside a sort of building, right at the back of it. So if you'd come from the train, you probably wouldn't even walk that far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've been meaning to try to find that. I haven't found it every
It was
time.
like
So
Narnia, remember? You walk through a wardrobe to get...
it's confusing.
No, you do not actually walk through a wardrobe to get there, everybody. Okay, so there's also, if I could add something,
Please.
if you don't fancy making the trip to the north of Paris to go to one of those flea markets, if you time it right, you can find markets all over the place.
Yeah, you got the weekend flea markets, often around the Oberkampf area.
Even up
up where we are.
Yeah, near
the top
KB, recent guest
top
Nico.
of Rue de Martyrs
I
again.
went looking for a walk up there the other day.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking of stir fry a little bit more.
Oh yeah?
I don't think you meant to go to...
It's Not like a department store, you know.
I know. I was going up to everyone and I was saying, "You're gonna walk."
Yeah, where's the best walk around
No, well,
here?
I felt like I needed one, but I didn't find one.
Oh,
but I
oh,
think
okay.
it's more to find, like you say,
Our
curiosity.
kitchen
than
is
stuff.
thanking
Yeah.
you.
What else have you got here? Secondhand shop.
Yes.
That's something that you mentioned.
Well,
Vintage.
vintage
Hang on,
shops.
what's the difference between vintage and secondhand?
Oh, yeah.
Is
I
it
mean,
just a cool
vintage
word?
is like a fancy word for secondhand.
Is that
But
all it
also, I feel like, well, how I used it is vintage applies a bit more to, like, it could be the brand, like a little bit more of a brand
Right.
thing. So it's not just like no brand. Secondhand I feel like you can't really have vintage H&M, for example. But you can have secondhand H&M.
I see. That's a good description of it. You know, I saw an interview with Annie Lennox. You know Annie Lennox?
Yeah.
And she lives in Paris, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, she's a dream guest for
You
me.
gotta have her on.
If anyone knows her, get in touch.
Annie. Okay.
She was saying that her daughters go shopping and they're obsessed with vintage, but she said that when I told them about secondhand shopping, they said that's disgusting and laughed at me. So I don't know. I still don't really.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Annie, I don't know.
Tell me.
I don't know, Annie.
What about in terms of secondhand? It feels to me that there are some vintage or secondhand shops in Paris that are kind of gross.
Yeah.
And some that are really trendy and everyone's...
Well, you got everything from like the charity shops mostly on like the outskirts of Paris, where a shirt costs €1, and you find like old underwear, that sort of thing.
So that's
it's
more of a
not-
secondhand shop.
That's big
Or a
time
charity
secondhand.
shop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, yeah.
I found some good stuff in places like that.
Yeah.
Actually,
Get
but
nerdy.
you have
Tell me what you mean. What did you find?
Well, I found like an old men's blazer. Can't get too many of those. But I feel like if you want to find something good in a place like that, you have to have a lot of time on your hand and patience, because and prepare to get down and dirty.
Right. But what I just got a memory. Do you remember on the honeymoon season?
Yeah.
I think we talked about it on the show because I remember getting emails about it. But you saw a trench coat. In
Yes.
Ile sous la Sorgue, is it called?
Yes, and it was just before we were going to go and have dinner with your auntie, and we were late, and I was like,
that haunts you, right?
oh, that trench coat. It was this beautiful khaki green trench coat from Burberry. No, I can't talk about it.
Okay, so where are you going to
Too
find
upsetting.
that stuff in Paris then? Can you give me some names of places that are worth checking out?
So I have a few good places for vintage shopping in Paris, and one is called Rose Market. It's on Rue Milton. It sounds very Milton.
Yeah.
It's in the like Pigalle area. And you got a lot of designer stuff, French and international, and it's a good place. I really like it. It's cute, and
Milton.
the area is really nice as well if you just want to walk around. Then you have, I find this name really funny. It's called Thanks God I'm a VIP.
Thanks God.
Yeah, with an X. Thanks God I'm a VIP.
I've noticed some French friends of ours say thanks God instead of
really?
thank God. Yeah, Fabian. I don't know.
Hey.
I don't think he's listening. He always says thanks God. I think it's a French thing.
Well, there you go.
So maybe that's why they call it what's it called? Thanks God?
Thanks God I'm a VIP.
Yeah,
It's really funny.
Name. Where's that?
Anyway, so this is it's kind of a République area in the 10th.
Yeah. Is that the one
Rue
that...
de Lancry?
Yeah. Lancry. Yeah, I know
I'm
that
not
one.
very good at pronouncing the names.
Yeah, okay.
So this one is a bit more of an upmarket one. You have a lot of like the big brands, and it's really beautiful. You can tell that it's someone who's really like been picking out the best pieces, and it's color coordinated in the shop. So you have all the yellow pieces in one corner, all the red, and it's really beautiful.
I know which one you're talking about. They got
Very
jewelry in there as well,
Insta-friendly.
right?
Yeah, they got a bit of everything.
Speaking of Instagram, people can follow you on Instagram, can't they?
Yes.
What do we look for?
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome to join my little clan.
You got to say what it's called.
It's called Parisian Postcards.
Parisian Postcards.
Yeah.
Oh, people will be looking right now. If you're driving, though,
Please
do
don't
it.
look.
Do it when you get home.
Yeah, I don't want any blood on my
I'd
hands.
rather they didn't follow you.
Please don't follow me.
Give the phone to the passenger.
Yeah.
Good. You shouldn't even be touching your phone.
Chuck it out the window.
Yeah. Okay. So more.
Okay, so
wait. Are people coming to Paris for vintage shopping? Is this a thing?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it more and more. People are really interested in it. I think it's in that time now, and it's all about sustainability and like caring for the environment. And there's so many good, beautiful garments and accessories already out there. So why not use it?
Are these people from like Thanks God I'm a VIP?
Mm.
Are they going to those charity shops and finding it? Is that how they're doing it? Are they sifting through the underwear?
Yeah, I think it's a I think it's a bit of everything, but I don't actually know exactly how they do it, but I think people sell directly to them.
Right.
They give them their old pieces.
Rummaging through the deceased people's stuff.
Yeah, it could be a bit of everything. Online, you
Movie
search
tip,
like
L'Homme
eBay.
Idéal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we watched that the other day.
it's talking
In
about
French, everyone in
rummaging
French.
through dead people's stuff.
Yeah.
But okay, so keep going with those vintage shops.
Yes, right. So we have
Reel them off.
we have Kilowatch, which is kind of like a modern classic.
Another weird name.
Kilowatch. Yeah, I know. Yeah, true. So this one is down at it's sort of at the bottom of Rue Montagueil in the second, and it's a cool mix of vintage and new stuff, like more independent, smaller brands.
Cool.
And it's really cool. Lots of inspiration.
Isn't there another one down there?
Yes, around the corner is what maybe my favorite actually, the one I've been to most times, and it's called Episode.
Okay.
And I think it's on Rue Tiqueton.
That's my favorite street name in Paris.
Yeah,
sounds like an ABBA song, doesn't it?
It does.
We don't want to get sued by ABBA, so let's move on.
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
No risk.
No, that was.
Was there any more vintage shops?
I have one more up in Montmartre area. That is called Chine Machine. Chine Machine. Yeah, Chine Machine. And it's cool. It's one of these, like, they have way too much stuff for the space of, like, per square meter. It's like, yeah, you have to really dig through.
Right, okay.
Dig through the stuff. Have some patience, but there's some good stuff.
Okay, cool. And what about other types of shopping? What else have you got here on your list?
Oh, I have so much. I could talk a whole day about this.
Unfortunately,
I could add a whole chapter.
People's commute will be over by the time.
True. Well, we got everything from, obviously Marais.
Okay, so like
Le
areas.
Marais.
Yeah.
Yes, more
okay,
areas.
how about I ask you a question from the perspective of a listener? Dear Lina.
Hello.
I'm coming to Paris for a weekend, and I want to do a serious, explosive set of shopping.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a real shopper.
Yeah.
Don't want to stray too far. Can you give me some areas I should focus on where I can't go wrong?
Okay, well, yeah, I'll just steer you right back to Le Marais because I think it's really nice. It's eclectic type of shopping. Lots of independent designers, also some of a lot of the big brands. You got really cool. It's sort of like a department store in itself. It's called Merci. And you got everything from fashion, interior, jewelry.
What do they call that shop?
Art.
Isn't there a word for that kind of shop? Concept store.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, concept. What does that mean?
Well, it's kind of like they pick out exactly what they want.
Right, so everything sort of
matches. I think we need to look this word up. But
no, I think it's like I read somewhere that
you sell a lifestyle, not just like one brand. It's not a one brand.
Right. Okay.
Thing.
That makes sense. I read that Sgt. Pepper's was the first concept album by the Beatles, as in it was the world's first concept album. And I never really understood what that meant either, but maybe it's the same thing. Everything sort of matched one idea rather than a collection of stuff in a shop or an album. That makes sense.
So.
Okay.
Well, it's cool. So that one is really nice. There's also another similar but different place like that just around the corner called Empreinte. And it's in an old jewelry factory building. They actually used to make jewelry for Chanel, and now it's like 4 or 5 floors full of beautiful, like, handmade ceramics, artworks.
I know that one.
Handmade jewelry.
That's
it's all
beautiful.
about. I think it's all made in France as well. That's what one of the requirements of selling your stuff there.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So that's a cool one.
What about BHV? Do we care about that?
Yeah.
The big department store.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's not as exciting to walk around. The building in itself is not so exciting. It's like, but you got a lot of the big brands as well.
Right.
Not the big luxury brands, but like high street big brands.
A lot of people don't probably realize that if you go right down to the bottom, you can get all your hardware store stuff.
Yeah, that's my favorite floor.
Is that your favorite floor?
Yeah, it is.
Really?
It is. I think it's really cool.
Mine's the rooftop terrace.
Ah,
Yeah,
wow.
we're different, you and I.
Yeah. Came from the bottom, now at the top.
Something like that.
Oh, is that a song?
What else? Time's running away.
Yes.
What are there any other areas that you want to go shopping in?
Oh, well, I mean, you can't go shopping in Paris and not mention the Golden Triangle. The
Here we go.
Triangle
Here we
d'Or.
go. Don't you need the right kind of personality to shop there, if you know what I mean?
Definitely. He's rubbing his hands together as he's saying this. Yes. So the Golden Triangle kind of runs between Georges V, Avenue Montaigne, and Champs-Élysées. So it's a lot of,
Oh my, yeah.
Yeah, this is like...
Are you shopping there a lot?
No, I can't say that I am.
Who
Maybe
is
in my
shopping there?
mind.
What is it, like princes and stuff?
Well, there's a lot of, well-to-do.
Well-to-do. I wonder if any
people.
listeners to this show are shopping there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maybe they should be in the hot seat right now.
They should,
But
yeah.
but you said before we started that shopping on the Champs-Élysées is actually probably not as good as people expect it to be.
Well, I never go to Champs-Élysées
But why
to
not?
shop.
Is it because it's too expensive or it's because it's not?
I feel like it's not... Yeah, this might sound crazy, but I feel like it's not Paris. That's not Paris to me. It's too big. It's like one long, big road full of tourists and just like the big chain stores. It's not... I don't think it's got charm.
I wonder if it's places...
It does now actually have... Recently, Galerie Lafayette opened up like a department store in the middle of it, and it's really cool. It's more of a concept store as well.
Yeah. I wonder if that's
really
why
nice.
people think... You know, a lot of people think Parisians are rude because they've only gone into busy restaurants or shops on the Champs-Élysées where there's so many
where
customers.
there are like
that no one cares.
1,000 tourists a minute and no one cares. Yeah, it makes sense. But anyways, that area. So you obviously, if you want some more high street and the big brands, they're all there. But also go down towards Avenue Montaigne and Georges V. You have all the big, what do you call it? It's like the big flagship stores of places like Chanel and Dior.
Right.
And
People,
I think
people
it's really beautiful.
queue up to get in there, right?
Yeah, you can see queues
because they don't.
there.
Yeah, they don't want to have like 50 people in there at once. I suppose. Wow.
Well, it's really, really beautiful and stunning. So that's kind of like quintessential Paris, old Paris shopping.
Right. What about other areas? Any others? Before we're sort of running out of time.
Well, for a new one, a modern one, Canal Saint-Martin, I think is good.
Cool.
More modern, more like. It's kind of, it goes hand in hand with the whole coffee revolution. You can find a little bit cheaper, also more of a bobo
Bobo is like French for hipster, basically.
Yeah, like
more
hipster
or less.
vibe. A lot of handmade stuff, a lot of small designers, more modern.
When we used to live in that area, do you remember that the shops were like changing in front of our eyes into those things?
Yes.
There used to be internet cafes or like Senegalese restaurants.
Yeah.
And then you just blink and it's an organic fruit shop.
Yeah.
And then
next
you blink
second,
again,
it's like a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Specialty coffee shop.
Or selling like
crazy.
strange modern art or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a good area to go and explore.
It is. It's new Paris.
Not even for just the shopping, for everything.
Yeah, for the coffee.
But Lina, we're kind of running out of time. So maybe I can finish on just a little question about you and what you're up to.
Yeah, sure.
Your brand, Deuxieme Studios. Deuxième. What does that mean?
Deuxième means the second. Right. So when I came up with this idea, the name for the brand, we lived in the Deuxième Arrondissement in Paris, the second arrondissement. And I just thought it sounded really cool, very French, and it told a little bit of a story. So
and what are you doing?
Nice
men's shoes?
I do women's shoes. I'm afraid.
I did know that.
And I am just working on my first line of handbags, which is very exciting.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
Well, the plan is to launch before Christmas because, Christmas gifts. Ideally, I could do that. We'll see how it works. So I work with small factories in Portugal. And
so that's on the horizon. You've got lock boots in the printemps department. I find that word really hard to say. Printemps. Yeah, you can't say it with a foreigner accent. Printemps. It means spring for anyone playing at home.
Yeah.
So you got stuff in there. You got the handbags coming out.
Yeah. So if you're in Paris, go to the 5th floor of Printemps, and you can see a wide selection of my shoes there.
And otherwise, I can say this for you. DeuxièmeStudios.com is the website. It'll be in the show notes. But also all the points. I think what I'm going to do, Lina, is get the vintage shops that you talked about, put that into a list on the earfultower.com. But for all the addresses and places you mentioned, I'm going to have that put together in a nice PDF file for the generous Patreon supporters of this show.
That is quite a good guide.
Do you want me to send you a copy of it?
Yes, please.
You'll have to sign up on Patreon, my darling.
Fine.
But for the rest of you, there's a good reason to support this show. But go and check out Lina's stuff, Parisian Postcards on Instagram or at Deuxieme Studios if you want to go directly to the shoes. But thanks for all the tips on shopping.
Thank you so much.
I'll see you at home. Well, that was it. That was Lina. I don't know how I managed, but I've convinced her to hang around for this last bit. Thanks, Lina.
Well, it wasn't that hard. You have some chocolate in the studio.
That's true. We do. I have toffee chocolate. What do you call it? Toffee covered chocolate? Chocolate covered toffee?
Something like that.
Well,
Delicious.
it's got chocolate on it and toffee. And Lina said she'll hang around as long as there's chocolate. So what I thought is that we'd break protocol and I'd have a guest hang around for the French Today bit. But first, how do you think that episode went?
I think it went all right.
Okay, that's
pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
Yeah.
Before we get into this French Today, I'm going to do something I haven't done for a while. You're always saying to me, does anyone listen to this podcast? And I'm always saying yes, but you never believed it. So I thought I'd just read out a couple of the reviews that have come in. And you can listen to it with, say me I get the keys to the scooter. You haven't got a choice. So I figured we'd do that, and then we can do a little bit of the French Today stuff. Deal?
All right, this is a deal.
Okay, I'll read 3 of them out, and I'll read them quick. So these are all recent. They've come in and people have left reviews on whatever platform they listen to. I used to tell people to do it because it helps the show. I understand that it does help. If you can't be bothered becoming a Patreon supporter or you're not in a position to do it, a review really helps. So let me read out a couple. Great job, says, the name is Love This Song From Him, Can. I think these are fake
original.
reviews. Great job, 5 stars. If we can't be in Paris, at least we can have you to bring Paris to us. Thank you.
Oh, that's really nice.
I can't believe the first one I read out sounds like a fake.
Yeah, a little bit.
What about this?
Bit, I'm sorry to say.
Elliot Love.
Okay, well,
Joy to listen to. Joy to listen to, 5 stars. I'm a hopeless Francophilia. Maybe that's a female Francophile? I don't know. And it brings me joy to hear Oliver talk about Paris. As I sit in traffic on the 405 freeway in Southern California, I'm not bothered because I'm listening and catching up with the Eiffel Tower. I'm grateful to visit Paris once a year, and what tides me over on the Paris buzz is hearing Oliver.
Oh.
Appreciate it. 5 stars.
Really good. I like that.
You know what?
one.
I wonder if the 405 freeway is the one from...
Did we go on that?
What's that movie I love? La La Land.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You don't like it?
Well, I mean, when you watch it once a week for a while, it kind of gets
It's
a bit
them
old.
stuck on that freeway. I wonder if that's the 405. Does anyone know? No one knows?
When they go like... No, wait, that was something else.
Like
That's
that.
something else.
Anyway, thank you for that, Elliot. That's very kind of you. And then one more from She Books It. That's her name or his name.
Yeah.
Never miss an episode. 5 stars. 3 5 stars in a row.
Oh my God.
I've been listening to this podcast since season 2, and I've listened to every episode, and I'm addicted to Oliver's stories. Whoa, every episode. Do you know how many hours that is?
No, and how many episodes?
I don't know either.
100?
More than that. 150 episodes?
Wow.
That's got to be 80 hours.
That's like an MVP right here.
She books it for the win.
Yeah.
She's addicted. She says, his love for the city comes through in every episode, and I appreciate his knowledge and enthusiasm and positivity. You'll like this, She Books It. I didn't take a breath in the intro to this episode. Lena was sitting next to me.
You went as red as the microphone.
Well, the thing is, I used to do intros that were really short, like 20 seconds long.
Yeah.
So I subconsciously held my breath for it. And now that I got sponsors and things to read,
so
and
much to talk about.
Yeah, I end up going 2.5 minutes without taking a breath. So anyway, thanks for those kindly reviews. Thanks to all the people who've signed up on Patreon, and I hope you enjoyed that rowboat that I did with Lina the other day. If you're yet to sign up, it's the perfect time because you'll be able to read through the PDF that came out with this episode with all those tips.
Oh, yeah.
But what we're going to do, Lina, is we're going to do a bit of French today. This is the breaking protocol bit. I'm going to press play on the audiobook.
Yeah.
And people, we're revealing something. We're revealing yours and my level of French on shopping terms. If anything, you should be really good at this.
No.
Should we take it in turns?
Yes.
And then we give people an idea, not just of some shopping terms in French, but also how the audiobooks work. So I'm specifically going in the À moi Paris level 2. FrenchToday.com/earful9. You'll get a further 10% off this. And then this is how it works.
This is also like shopping. You shop
A
for
little
language.
bit, yeah, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of every sort of mini chapter, there is a study guide. And I've gone to the study guide in chapter 4 of this level 2. Sophie cherche une tenue. Right? She's looking for an outfit. And here are some of the key words. Are you ready? Maybe you repeat the first one. I'll do the second one.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's
And people
do
can
this.
judge who they think is
No.
better pronunciation. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Un vendeur.
Un vendeur.
Not bad.
A saleswoman.
My turn.
Yeah.
Une vendeuse.
Une vendeuse.
Too breathy. Too
A
breathy.
sale.
I need to catch up.
Something you just sold.
A sale.
Oh no, I missed it. Salt? What did she say?
Une vente.
Every time she's been saying it at the end. Une
Un
vente.
discount.
A discount.
Une remise.
Une remise.
Good roll.
Yeah, thank you.
Sales.
Sa-
Discount times.
Okay, so sales.
Les soldes.
Les soldes. Les soldes.
To be on sale.
Pretty good.
Être en solde.
Être en solde.
To be on sale. Pretty
A
good.
shop window.
We know this one.
Yes.
Une vitrine.
Une vitrine, s'il vous plaît. I'm adding for extra points.
A hanger. Un cintre.
Un cintre.
I didn't know that one.
A shop. Un magasin. Une boutique.
Un magasin. Une boutique.
Yeah, I prefer
A
boutique.
register.
This is the last one, number 10.
Okay.
Une caisse.
Une caisse.
Well, there you have it, everybody. There was a... The list actually goes
God, I'm
on.
sweaty.
Those were the... they were the first 10 out of, oh my goodness, 94 shopping terms
Wow.
in there. And
Well,
that's just
after
one part
that,
of it.
you will be quite the expert.
I think so. Un centre. I didn't know that one.
Un
A
centre.
hanger. Un centre.
Un centre.
But that's cool. So that's how the guidebooks work. Thanks for hanging around. If you guys want to get into those guidebooks, they start right at the beginner level, like the bonjour and hello, and they go right up to level 7, which is, tricky. I mean,
like
this is
future imperfect perfect.
tenses that might not even exist. And if you're new to this show right now, they've been the sponsor for the whole year. Camille is the voice that you just heard playing from my laptop, but she's in the studio or at least on the phone once a month. So get familiar with that voice because she's going to be a repeat and a recurring customer. A recurring guest is the word I
Wow,
was
you're
looking for.
quite in the mood
Yeah,
of
I've gone full shopping. But that's it for now. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, check out, I'm going to say it one more time, FrenchToday.com/earful9. It is September the 9th month. After all,
It
Lina
is.
at Parisian Postcards, her brand, Deuxieme Studios. Me, this is the Earful Tower. My
and
name's...
your name is Oliver G.
Oh, very good. And if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, follow it on Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. You really want to make my day, become a Patreon supporter. For a monthly pledge, you get a lot of bonus stuff. But merci beaucoup, and we're out of here.
Merci.